Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, also known as the English Fluency Guide, and I am the founder of EnglishAnyone.com. It is a pleasure to welcome you to another video. This is just an interesting thought I had that I would share with you all today because one of the things I like to do is explaining to people, number one, stories, so helping them to connect different ideas and certainly learn English through stories rather than just giving them lists of vocabulary or grammar rules or things like that to memorize. But I also help people make connections. And this is really important for you when you're trying to especially remember a new language. You want to remember words in a new language. You want to communicate without forgetting words or feeling nervous and your mind just going blank in the middle of conversations, which I've had happen to me many times, especially when I was just learning to speak Japanese. But I had a conversation, actually I did a presentation yesterday, 2 presentations where I was talking about our app, Frederick, and explaining to people why they should be using it, why the education system actually makes them just struggle with their speaking. So I was explaining all these things and I was talking to someone there about business. This is just an interesting thing. Again, we have these connections. I had not planned on talking about that, but I was talking to some people about that. And one of the things that I was explaining because this person was interested in both language learning and business, I was making this kind of interesting connection I thought you might like to know about. And now in business, what you're trying to do is make a connection with a customer. So this is, or a client, or, a patient, if you're a doctor or a hospital, that kind of thing. It doesn't matter. Basically, you're trying to get some person to be in your universe so they can learn more about what you do. And then you're able to provide some service or, courses or whatever that thing happens to be. Now, what often people are trying to do in a business, and most people don't really do this very well. This is why a lot of businesses fail. But trying to have a focus on new customers all the time. So many businesses, they're always thinking about new customers. How can we get new customers? And they spend a lot of their time and energy on that. But the smart businesses, they, of course, are thinking about how to get new customers, but they're spending a lot more energy on how to retain and get more out of those particular customers that they already have. So whether these are clients, again, customers, patients, doesn't matter. And what I was explaining to this person, so we were talking about that and just talking about business in general and language learning. And I was saying the same thing that these business owners are doing, where they're thinking more about trying to find new people. They're spending lots of energy on that, but very little on, well, what did you do with the people you already have? Because the most difficult thing to do in business is to get a customer, and it becomes a lot easier when you already have someone who knows, likes, and trusts you, and you're able to help them, and they know that you can help them. All of the selling, all of that providing of the goods or services becomes much easier once you have that relationship already. So it's much more difficult to get a new customer. You spend all of your money trying to get a new customer if you're advertising, whatever that thing is. But once you have that customer, that's where the real value can develop, the real strong relationship that you can have, and you start getting really great results with people from there. So while most people are spending their time trying to get new customers, language learners in the same way are trying to spend their time learning new words. And what they should be doing is trying to have a better relationship with the words they already know. Does this make sense? It's kind of an interesting idea, but while I was talking about these 2 different things, it just seemed like an interesting thing and an interesting connection that I had not heard before. But you'll notice in life, it doesn't really matter. People are mostly the same, and it doesn't matter if you're teaching language or teaching piano or teaching whatever other things. People mostly struggle with the same kinds of problems. And if you find those connections, or if you see a solution to something in one area, you can often apply it somewhere else. As a kind of interesting business idea connected with this, Henry Ford, who created the Ford Motor Company, and he created the assembly line. So he was thinking about how can we mass produce the automobile? How can we make many cars for many people and do so cheaply and efficiently? So the assembly line idea is you basically have like a car body. The thing is moving down like this, and then somebody comes up and takes a piece off of it, or puts a piece on, or fixes something, or does something like that. And each person along the line, the assembly line, does something different. And then by the end, they've created a car. So each person can focus on their own particular task. Now, a lot of this is done by machines, but it's the same basic idea. Now, he got this originally from looking at meat processing plants. So in that case, you take a cow and you're kind of moving that cow through the same kind of thing, but like one person cuts off the legs, another person cuts off, whatever, however it works. I've never been in one before, but this is a de-assembly or a disassembly plant. So he took that same idea, and instead of having people move to different cars, he would have the car move to different stations where people were working. So instead of like a disassembly line, you have an assembly line. So he was thinking it's almost like you put the cow back together over time. So here he is, he's taking an interesting connection from one thing and applying it someplace else. And it's the same idea for learning something. So it's really hard for you to try to learn a new word. You notice that whenever you learn a new word, you learn it once and then you forget it a little bit. Then you say, I got to go back and remember this word again. And if you're diligent, if you really try, if you spend some energy to do this, usually you can remember things. I actually spend a lot of time helping people with memory. I have a whole course about this called How to Remember Any English Word. It's with the Fluency course. It's also with Fluent for Life if you're in that program as well. But this is where I show people how to make, again, interesting connections that help them make words much more memorable. Anyway, this idea about focusing on new words, trying to grow your vocabulary more and more all the time, it's really wasteful. You're wasting your energy when you can develop fluency with the words you already know. And this is one of the most exciting things that I explain to people when I'm talking to them about fluency is you can actually become fluent without learning any new words or grammar if you just spend more time with the words you already know. Does that make sense? And in the same way, many businesses could actually stop looking for new customers or just spend a lot less time doing that and spend a lot more time focusing on the customers they already have, and they would probably make a lot more money. So that's actually what I do for English Anyone. I spend a lot less time trying to bring in new people and a lot more time trying to really help the people I have and develop a much better relationship with them. And the people I can help get fantastic results. They tell more people, and my process of getting new customers becomes a lot more really just easier as a result. Does this make sense? So the main idea here, spend less time trying to learn new stuff and more time focusing on the things you already know. Develop a better relationship with the words you know. Don't look at something and think, well, I already know that word. Do you really know that word? If you're forgetting that word, maybe you don't really know that word. Remember these ideas, and if this has been interesting for you and hopefully you have found this valuable, click that like button and leave a comment down below letting me know if you have any similar ideas or if you've made some kind of connection in your own life or your own learning, especially with your English, that's been helpful and maybe other people can benefit from discoveries you have made. Well, that's it for this video. If you'd like to learn more about how to improve the kinds of things I do about helping people make better connections and actually remember what they do, remember what they learn, you can click on the link in the upper right of this video or on the link in the description below this video. And if you'd like to continue learning right now on YouTube, just do these very simple things right now. 1. Click on this link to subscribe to my YouTube channel for over 500 free videos. 2. Click on this link to download my #1 ebook guide to fast fluency free. And 3. Click here to watch the most popular video on English fluency here on YouTube.